Ever wondered how Swedish fish are made? These chewy, fruity candies have been swimming into our hearts since the 1950s. And today, we're going behind the scenes to uncover the secrets of how these iconic little fish are made in the factory. So, grab a handful of Swedish fish, settle in, and let's dive deep into the candy-making process. The journey of Swedish fish begins with a simple but crucial ingredient: sugar. Lots and lots of sugar. After all, what's a candy without a bit of sweetness, right? The sugar is mixed with corn syrup and invert sugar, which is just a fancy term for sugar that's been broken down into glucose and fructose. This combination creates the perfect base for a gummy candy that's soft, chewy, and deliciously sweet. Next up, the mixture is heated to a precise temperature, around 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 115 degrees Celsius. At this stage, it turns into a hot, bubbling syrup that's sticky enough to trap anything that comes near it, sort of like a candy quicksand. This step is crucial because it's what gives Swedish fish their signature chewy texture. The heating process causes the sugars to break down and caramelize slightly, adding depth to the flavor and ensuring that the final product is irresistibly chewy. But here's where things get really interesting: the flavor and color. Swedish fish are famous for their unique, fruity flavor that's often described as a mix between cherry and lingonberry, with a hint of citrus. The exact flavor recipe is a closely guarded secret, but what we do know is that it's designed to be distinct and memorable. After all, there's nothing quite like the taste of a Swedish fish. The flavor is added to the hot syrup along with food coloring to give the candy its vibrant red hue. Fun fact: although red is the most popular color, Swedish fish actually come in a variety of colors and flavors, including green, yellow, and orange. But no matter the color, each fish is packed with that iconic, mouth-watering flavor that keeps us coming back for more. Now that the syrup is flavored and colored, it's time for the fish to take shape. The hot candy mixture is poured into fish-shaped molds made of cornstarch. Yes, you heard that right. Cornstarch. The molds are created by pressing fish-shaped patterns into trays filled with cornstarch, which is then packed tightly to hold the shape. The cornstarch molds are crucial because they help the candy set properly without sticking to the trays. It's a bit like making sandcastles, but with candy. Once the molds are ready, the hot syrup is poured into them, filling each little fish shape to the brim. The candy is then left to cool and set for several hours. During this time, the mixture transforms from a sticky syrup into a firm, chewy candy. It's like watching magic happen, but much tastier. After the candy has set, the cornstarch molds are carefully tipped over to release the fish. But don't worry, these fish aren't slippery. The cornstarch helps them pop out of the molds easily, leaving behind perfectly shaped Swedish fish. The fish are then sent through a series of gentle brushes and blowers to remove any excess cornstarch, ensuring that each one is clean and ready to be packaged. At this point, the factory smells like a candy wonderland, with the sweet scent of fruity goodness wafting through the air. But we're not done yet. There's one more step before the fish are ready for the big wide world. Each fish is given a light coating of a special wax to give it a shiny, glossy finish. This wax coating not only makes the fish look more appealing, but it also helps prevent them from sticking together in the package. After all, no one wants to open a bag of Swedish fish only to find a gummy fish clump. The wax used is completely edible, of course, and adds just a touch of extra smoothness to the candy. Now that the Swedish fish are shiny and ready to go, it's time for packaging. The fish are sorted by size and color, and then they're packed into those familiar yellow and red bags. The packaging process is fast and efficient, with hundreds of fish being packed per minute. But it's not just about speed. Each bag is carefully weighed to ensure that you're getting just the right amount of candy in every package. Because let's be real, there's nothing worse than feeling shortchanged on your Swedish fish fix. Before the bags are sealed, a little bit of air is added to each one. This might sound strange, but the air actually helps cushion the fish during shipping, preventing them from getting squished or damaged. So, the next time you open a bag of Swedish fish and notice a little puff of air, just remember, it's there to protect your precious candy cargo. Once the bags are sealed, they're boxed up and ready to be shipped out to stores around the world. But before they leave the factory, there's one final step: quality control. Random samples are taken from each batch to ensure that every fish meets the brand's high standards. This includes checking the size, shape, and appearance of the fish, as well as taste testing them to make sure they have that perfect chewy texture and fruity flavor. Yes, there are people whose job is to taste Swedish fish all day. Talk about living the dream. And here's a fun fact: Swedish fish are one of the few gummy candies that are fat-free. That's right. These tasty treats are made without any added fats. which means you can indulge without feeling too guilty. Of course, they're still packed with sugar, but hey, it's candy. You've got to live a little. Swedish Fish were originally created in Sweden, hence the name, by a candy company called Malaco, and they were introduced to the US in the 1950s. Since then, they've become a beloved candy around the world, especially in North America. Their unique flavor and chewy texture have made them a staple at movie theaters, candy stores, and Halloween parties. And let's not forget about all the creative ways people use Swedish Fish, whether it's topping cupcakes, decorating cakes, or even using them as bait in fishing-themed parties. Over the years, the brand has expanded to include different sizes and shapes of Swedish fish, from mini fish to giant fish. They've even introduced new flavors, like tropical and sour Swedish fish, to keep things interesting. But no matter what size, shape, or flavor you prefer, there's no denying the classic appeal of the original red Swedish fish. And let's talk about that iconic red color. While other gummy candies come in a rainbow of colors, there's something special about the deep, rich red of Swedish Fish. It's instantly recognizable and makes the candy stand out in any candy aisle. Plus, there's something just so satisfying about biting into that bright red fish and tasting that sweet, fruity flavor. But Swedish Fish aren't just a treat for humans. They've also inspired all sorts of fun merchandise, from plush toys to clothing to, yes, even Swedish Fish-flavored lip balm. The brand has become a cultural icon, and it's all thanks to that unique combination of flavor, texture, and nostalgia. So the next time you tear open a bag of Swedish Fish, take a moment to appreciate all the work, science, and candy-making magic that went into creating those perfect little fish. From the carefully crafted syrup to the precise molding process, every step is designed to create a candy that's not just tasty, but truly iconic. And there you have it. That's how Swedish Fish are made in the factory. The next time you pop one of these chewy, fruity candies into your mouth, you'll know exactly how it was made, from the sugar and corn syrup to the final glossy finish. Now, go ahead, take a bite, enjoy that burst of flavor, and maybe share a few with your friends, or not. We won't judge if you keep the whole bag to yourself.